Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Diana Sanchez, and welcome to Sharp's Aquos Board and Professional Displays webinar with National Operations Manager Marin Imperial and Senior Sales Engineer Sandra Morello from Sharp, winner of 3 Best of Show awards at InfoComm 2015. Before we start, here's a little bit about IVI. We're proud to make our debut to INC's 5,000 annual ranking of the fastest growing private companies in America. We've been around since 1997 and our sales teams have almost 200 years of combined AV experience in the field of Pro AV sales with multiple AV certifications and offices across the country. We carry and stock your favorite brands, and each member of our team is required to attend regular trainings on the latest products offered by our manufacturer partners. We have expertise in specifying complete solutions in multiple vertical markets, and no project is too large or too small. We're proud to serve as a one-stop shop for hardware and accessories with an experienced logistics team that offers same-day nationwide shipping for just-in-time delivery on projects that are time-sensitive. IVI is growing, which is why we just opened a West Coast distribution facility in Salt Lake City, Utah. We have a registration expert at our bid desk who can save you valuable time and increase profits by providing assistance for registration projects. We also make sure to keep you updated on the manufacturer's most current spiffs and rebate programs. We're very excited to announce we'll be releasing the quarterly update with our latest products to our interactive product guide next month in October. You can download our app in the platform of your choice at ivi.com/product guide. We're thrilled to be with Sandra and Marin today. If everybody is ready, I'd like to get us started. Marin, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marin Imperial. I'm the National Operations Manager for Sharp. So when you work with IVI, if you're looking for special pricing, quote support, demo opportunity support, that is something that I will be helping out with. And I'd like to introduce my partner in crime, Sandra Morello, who is our Senior Sales Engineer, and I'll let her give a little brief intro of herself as well.
Thanks, Marin. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for partnering with Sharp and IAVI and joining us today for this WebEx. A little bit about myself and about my role. First of all, if anybody here on the call is a participant of LinkedIn, please feel free to review my LinkedIn profile, as well as references and industry expertise that I have on my profile as well. Hopefully, I'll receive a LinkedIn invite from each of you. A little bit about my background. I've spent several years in IT infrastructure, and the last 7 years in AV. So from video wall deployments to conference room deployments to my favorite, digital signage, and now working with interactive whiteboards. My core role is really to work with our partners, such as yourself, IAVI, as well as my partner in crime, Marin here, to make sure that product is spec'd in correctly. Your tech support questions, any issues that you may have are answered immediately and escalated if need be. But most importantly, to also be an industry expert, to talk about best practices, applications, to provide you with a good understanding of what perhaps your competition is doing, what the market analysis are showing us about digital signage, about the growth of interactive whiteboards, and again, those applications that are going to help drive your business day to day. So with that said, throughout this presentation today, I'll be speaking up a little bit as Marin goes through the slide deck, assist answer any questions, but please feel free following this WebEx to reach out at any time. And most importantly, utilize me as an extension of your sales force. So whether you are a partner that's working with an end user and you need to bring that expert to the table, or you're a potential end user, customer of Sharp product working with IAVI, and you have several questions about a project that you're managing. Maybe it's digital signage. Maybe it's the infrastructure that's needed on the back end for interactive whiteboards. Certainly leverage myself, along with the rest of the Sharp team, to get all those answers met. So that's all that I have to say today right now, Marin, and I'll let you move forward with the presentation.
All right, sounds good. So I'll go ahead and get started. Basically, our agenda for this afternoon is to give you an overview of our touchscreen technology within Sharp, where we were and where we've come. We currently today are featuring our widest line card and touchscreens that we've ever offered, but we've come a long way. Within the about 5 years that we've been in the touchscreen display technology business, we want to give you a walkthrough as to how we got to where we are today. We've got some pretty amazing things that we've added to our line card in the last few months. So we'll give you a highlight of those two newest models, which you see there, our P&L 803C as well as our PNC 703B. After that, we're also going to talk through our commercial TV lineup. We introduced our 661 series, I want to say in the June timeframe. We offer it in 60, 70, and 80 inches, and this was a big request from our customers probably over the last, I would say, 3 years that I've been with Sharp. You know, on the first month that I started, this is a big request. A lot of customers are buying consumer televisions that you'd find, let's say, in a Walmart or a Best Buy and putting them in a commercial application. So what we did was develop the best in breed, somewhere to meet in the middle of a consumer TV and a commercial display. Low price point, but has some nice commercial features. And last but not least, we're going to walk you through our Sharp Star program. Our Star program is basically a partnership with other manufacturers in the industry. So obviously we know that when you spec out a solution, you're not just looking at Sharp, you're looking at a lot of other partners to complete that. So we've partnered with a lot of people in the industry. We'll give you a highlight as to who those are. When you see us at trade shows, when you see our newsletters, you'll get a little flavor of what we're doing there. That's something that Sandra helps out a lot with, and we've got a gentleman by the name of Crystal Potters who runs that program for us. So that's it in a nutshell. We'll try and wrap it up within, let's say, 40 minutes or so. I've got a lot of slides here, but I'm going to breeze through pretty quick. And then at the end, obviously, feel free throughout in that little chat bar. If you have a question, send it off, and we'll cover it at the very end of the presentation. And then at the end, we'll give you a nice little incentive that we're happy to bring you guys all today. All right, so evolution of touchscreen technology. If you're familiar with our Aquos board is kind of our, what I always say is our flagship. If you were to walk into our booth at InfoComm, probably 50% of our booth is our Aquos board. So those are our 60, 70, and 80-inch large displays that are incorporating touch. We introduced those back in February of 2011, and if you can believe that, that was a single touch technology that had embedded IR, very thin protective glass feature. Shortly after we introduced it, we provided a software upgrade that allowed it to go to dual touch. And then the following year, February 2012, also IR technology, but we improved drastically the response time. And this is where we went from not just the 60-inch, but we added a 70 and 80-inch. So that was back in 2012. If you jump forward to last year, that's when we introduced our third generation. Some major improvements offered there. We went to 10 points of touch, which allow up to 4 users at the board. And then we introduced this new anti-glare film, which is a nice little layer on top of the screen that drastically improves not only the performance and the responsiveness, but it also protects it from scratches, as well as eliminates a lot of the glare you might see in a high lighting environment. And then just recently, last month, we introduced our state-of-the-art P&L 803C. This is our top of the line, obviously our biggest size that we offer, and it's incorporating something called projective capacitive touch, which I'll talk through a lot later, but basically the most accurate response time we've ever offered, and it's edge-to-edge glass. Very nice improvement over our previous 80-inch. So if you compare the technologies, and I said I'm going to go through embedded projective capacitive touch. Sorry, it's a mouthful, but basically you can see when you look at touch accuracy, the bezel profile, things like input method, handwriting, the step up in every single category is immense. You're definitely looking at a thinner display but more accuracy. What I always try to tell people, embedded projected capacitive touch, the simplest thing you can think about is if any of you have a smartphone, let's say an iPhone or an iPad, it's using that edge-to-edge glass technology, and it's never before been offered in such a large screen. So you're seeing the most responsive technology, but in a very large form factor. So our series that we introduced last year that had the improvements on the 60 and 70, like I just mentioned, the 80 inch is where we've introduced that capacitive touch. It is the only display that we offer that has that. We still have our 60 and 70 inch, which is in our third generation. Again, has that new surface protection film and allows up to 4 users at the board. Last year, I didn't mention this before, we also offered an upgraded user interface, which you see to the right there, a little 4-box scenario. You can change it to have it 2 different ways. It gives you the option to customize your toolbar to however you would like. And that third generation, another drastic improvement was the touch responsiveness. It is actually 1.4 times faster than the models that we offered in the previous generation. So we're talking about capacitive touch technology. Why is it so groundbreaking? Why are there so many improvements that go along with it? Well, basically, what incorporated that was this new metal mesh technology that, if you look to the right there, it shows you the unique technology where you look at the Sharp, where it's eliminating a lot of that noise that you might see with other partners. It's going immediately to that one touch point. You might, let's say, have a sleeve on your shirt that causes interference. It's going to eliminate any of that interference. So super high accuracy, improvement of operability with that. And this is kind of the last touch point before I go into more detail. If it's an optical-based touch panel, this is where I said it might accidentally jump. And if you're familiar with any of our previous older models, it might have, let's say if you're going through PowerPoint, there's occasion where it might have accidentally jumped to the next screen. Or like I mentioned before, you've got your sleeve, it might have caused some interference with your writing. Now with capacitive touch, you're eliminating all of that. So in summary, hopefully I've said projective capacitive touch like more than 5 times, probably up to 10. So hopefully you're getting the hang of what that means and why it's so important. I've already mentioned the accuracy, but the other nice improvement is the low profile and fully flat design, and we'll get into a little bit more detail as to why that is so awesome and what cool things you can do with it. Okay, so capacitive touch. With that, you get a new touch pen. The millimeter tip on it is 3.5, and that is much smaller than previous versions, which allows you to write much more detailed and much smaller. And we also introduced a new software that is going to be bundled with it. You're probably familiar with our Sharp Pen software, which is our simple whiteboarding technology. We also have collaboration software, which allows you to interact with different devices, whether it be a tablet or another PC. But we're now introducing a new collaboration meeting type software, which I'll get into shortly, called Touch Viewer. So adoption of capacitive touch, like I said, it's fully flat. What's really great about this is it's edge-to-edge glass. Before we had a bezel incorporated, so if you tried to line these up side by side with infrared technology, you might have experienced some interference with that. And the gap between screens is quite large. So it's not the best scenario for lining them up side by side. Now with edge-to-edge glass, you're going to eliminate that. And you can go up to 3 side by side and put it in multi-board mode, which I will speak to shortly. All right, I already talked through the writing. It basically cuts the writing size in half of the current model. And then this is a nice look at the difference in our previous version versus our new version in the 80-inch. We've made it 30% thinner and 25% lighter. I always call the P&L 802B was truly a beast at 225 pounds. So that nice drop in weight goes a long way, especially when you're thinking about the wall and the reinforcement, as well as even just the freight rates that go along with that. So I touched on shortly some of the software applications that are offered. Our new software that we're offering is called Touch Viewer. We're talking about collaboration with different devices, but within that, what I want to really walk you through is on the next slide, where you go into Sharp Pen software, you might whiteboard a certain situation, but then what do you do with it? You're in a meeting space, you want to collaborate. Before you actually, maybe send it to an MFP or email it out or store it on the server, you might want to get into a meeting. Let's say we have a class on Tuesday, Thursday. We want to jump onto where we left off on Tuesday. I can share any sort of document, whether it be a PDF, a PowerPoint, a video, one of those whiteboard pages that I saved previously. I can open up a drawer that says, Tuesday's class, and it'll leave us right where we left off, and it incorporates all of that. And it allows us to annotate each document. From there, you can save them in any sort of drawer you'd like, and then scan it to an MFP, or like I said, share it on a network. All right, I'm going to talk through a little bit about the enhanced functionality. That was a short little look at our software. But I did previously mention multi-board mode, and we showed this off at InfoComm a few months ago, where basically you can swipe one display to the next. So you could have a user at that first board, that board 3, that might be showing a PowerPoint like I am today, and you might still be taking notes on slides from previous, where I can be on that slide where you can take a look at the previous to it. The easiest scenario in my mind to think about application-wise is being in some sort of auditorium for a college where students are taking notes and they might not be catching up with the speaker, but you can easily show all 3 displays at the same time. Like I said, you can choose your UI and you can quickly erase content. This is a recommended PC. If you're not familiar with Aquos board, what we've done for the last several years is always bundled. You can buy the display on its own, but it needs to be powered by a PC to have that software running behind it. We do have a recommended PC that goes with it that you can buy on our line card, or you can buy any PC that you'd like to put behind it or use a current version of your own. Sandra, I might let you chime in here because I know that we had some discussion around PC and interaction between different devices.
Thanks, Maren. Really what I wanted to speak about regarding PCs and different operating systems, it has to do with the Aquos board system as a whole, so not just specific to this 80-inch display. But think about the Aquos board as an open platform, okay? And we'll go through some qualifying questions that you can present to your end users later. But that open platform is really what's going to be a key differentiator between the Sharp Aquos board, the interactive whiteboard, along with the competition. So whether you're using Droid, whether you're using Windows, whether you're using iOS, you have that flexibility. So it's fair to say that Sharp plays well with others. It could be a Samsung device connected on the back end. It could be an LG computer on the back end. Again, it's going to come down to what that operating system is and how it communicates with the Aquos board. So one of the first questions that you should ask regarding any opportunity, okay, you walk into your customer and they say, hey, I'm looking to actually replace, or I'm looking for some brand new interactive whiteboards. One of the top questions that's going to come to your mind that you want to make sure you get answered right away is, well, can you tell me about your operating system? Have you standardized on an operating system? What type of computer would you be looking to connect into the Aquos board to drive the information on the back end? Is it Windows? If so, what version of Windows? Perhaps you're looking at Mac. Perhaps, again, you're looking at a Droid tablet. Maybe it's even a Chromebook. This is a very important question, and again, that's going to be a key differentiator, is that we are an open platform. So depending on what that operating system is, you can then download the correct drivers, touch drivers, as well as the pen software, which is our interactive collaborative software, and our touch display link software. So understanding that platform, those standardizations within your customer for an operating system is key on how to mix and put together a complete solution while working with the Aquos board. Go ahead, Maren.
All right. Okay, cool. So Sandra had already spoken to you a little bit about this. The touch display link, you might be screen sharing. We call ourselves an open platform. We do displays very, very well, but we recognize, you might have somebody like a Crestron that is in the room. You might have a Mac device. You might have, some other projectors in the room that you're mirroring. So we recognize that you have other clients or devices in the room that you might want to connect to this. With our touch display link, we can support up to 50 mobile devices, and they can be connected simultaneously into the host board. Where basically it allows remote dial-in into whatever that presentation might be, and the host can drive and allow sharing of that document or that presentation. So that is a quick overview of touch display link. The 80-inch can go portrait mode. That's something that was not offered in our previous 80-inch. So if you look here at an application, menu boards, interactive digital signage, this is a great way to show it. Some user-friendly features. We have a front-facing USB port. Previous versions, you had to buy a little accessory that you could put in that little pen tray. If you think about it, a lot of the USB inputs are on the back of the display. So if you're wall mounting this screen, it makes it somewhat difficult for somebody to walk up with a little USB thumb drive to drive a presentation. I myself have done that plenty of times where I'm climbing behind an Aquos board that's affixed to the wall, standing on chairs to get myself up there. This makes it much, much easier for the user to just basically plug and play. We have forward-facing 10-watt speakers. We also have, on the front part, you're not having to also lean behind the screen to change input. So we have this on-screen display touch menu right in the front left corner that can allow you to change video inputs or adjust volume. I already talked to that anti-glare film that reduces the glare and reflection. That's also in this 80-inch. But we also have that 10 points of touch and up to 4 different users at the same time. This display comes with 2 touch pens as well as an eraser. That eraser does have a conductive element embedded inside the eraser. This is something that may be small, but it does separate us from the competition. That's not something that our other competition offers. And like I said previously, our lineup in Aquos board is wider than it ever has been before. And I would say the reason for this is you're going to see a lot more competition within this space. You're going to hear a lot about touch in the next couple of years. We've seen amazing amounts of growth, upward of 200% at IAVI within this category. And when you get people like Microsoft coming in with additional solutions, and I think we've also gotten Focus with their J-Touch, a lot more competition in this space, so you're going to see potentially prices start to drop. And I'm going to get to a new model that we introduced that's a value price point in our 70-inch. But this is a nice look. It's something if you're interested, this is something I keep in my folder at all times. It puts every one of our models side by side and gives you every single feature, whether it be software, the number of touch points, the number of users, all of it's right there at your fingertips.
Hey, Maren, another call out regarding the growth of interactive whiteboards is, let's all stop for a second and think about the applications, right? We first started hearing about interactive whiteboards really around the education market. And then it started to expand. We started to see it more in conference rooms, very high-tech conference rooms. Now what we seem to find is with the whole BYOD, bring your own device initiative that's out there, more and more conference rooms, office buildings, classrooms, even in medical centers and all, whiteboards are pretty much taking over the walls. So again, asking questions to your potential customers, do you have a BYOD initiative? How are you interacting, whether it's with your customer, whether it's with your sales team, whether it's in that conference room, whether it's with your students? How are you interacting? How are you collaborating amongst each other? So that's just something to think about. Again, keyword BYOD, it's not a new word, it's a buzzword. We constantly hear about it, but it's something that does make a difference when looking at new opportunities and where you could potentially sell, and one of those questions to trigger that aha for that customer.
And I'll chime in real quick on that, is that, Sandra mentioned it started in education. So if you think about the students that maybe were introduced to an interactive whiteboard maybe as long as 10 years ago, they're growing up, they're getting into high school, into college, and into the workforce, and these are, pieces of technology that they're familiar with, that they have expectations around. So we're seeing this, obviously the younger generation, I've got fingerprints all over my home TV. My kids expect it to be able to work just like the iPad. So I think you're going to see, like Sandra said, a lot more continued growth. I mentioned 200%. We see that continuing to at least the next 2 to 3 years, continuing an explosive growth pattern and then potentially stabilizing out after that. But we're still experiencing nice growth and profit, which profit is always a nice category to be in. This is a quick look at pricing and availability. One thing to note, and I haven't touched on this previous, if you are not a Sharp authorized reseller, please ask myself or Jared Flax or anybody that's on this webinar. We can hook you up, but basically basic information is needed. We need to know where you're located, website address, basic company information. But once you get signed up, you are eligible for SPIF, which you see on the screen here. You're eligible for a VIR, which we offer you every 6 months, where you can earn up to 3% back. And then you can also register opportunities. That's something you don't have to be an authorized reseller to do, but you can register opportunities for up to 7% off for quantity 10 or more. And then if you need more, let's say it's a quantity 100 opportunity, don't hesitate to reach out to Sharp or your IAVI resources for additional support. We are very interactive. We like to work with you, negotiate. We can certainly work with you on demo units. We have a 15% off demo unit program. We also have a demo pool where if you're not ready to make that investment to buy it up front, if you want to borrow it for a week and test it out with a bunch of your end users, we can cover free shipping to and from and let you borrow that for 1 to 2 weeks. Potentially send somebody out to support you if you get enough resellers out. And honestly, if you think about touch technology, most people want to touch it, feel it, see it before they buy it. It's a big investment. So in my experience, having a demo unit is the #1 way to grow your Aquos board sales.
Hey, Maren, you touched on resources that are available, and I also want to call out to our local showrooms that can also be utilized as well. We have a total of 12 showrooms across the U.S. that can be utilized with advanced notification if you'd like to bring a customer in, perhaps do a lunch and learn for them to touch, feel, see that product lineup, whether it's the interactive whiteboards or video wall product or standard digital signage displays. So with notice, reaching out to the IAVI team, letting them know about the opportunity, and then us scheduling some time so you can get into that showroom is not a problem. Again, we're here to back you and your opportunities up. So once again, thank you for partnering with us.
Okay. And as Sandra said, on a demo unit, if we're shipping out of our pool of resources, up to 2 weeks notice is usually needed. I'd say certain times of the year, like now, we're getting out of education season into government season. We're needing about a 2-week notice to get things out, but we can certainly accommodate. So I mentioned previously we introduced a value price point Aquos board. That is our PNC 703B. We introduced it about 2 months ago, and I will say that this is kind of like stealth mode. A lot of people don't know about this model. And if there is any Sharp display that you should know about, I want you to know about this one. The reason for it is basically think about any application within the Aquos board world. Not always do you need 4 people at the board. I'd say if you're in a conference room, you might have 2 people at the board at the same time writing. You're not going to be using it 24 hours a day. And in that kind of scenario, we do have this model that offers 6 points of touch to users. It's recommended 16-hour use. It still has the pen software that gives you that whiteboarding functionality. And it's offered to you at 20% lower than our current 70-inch, our PNL 703B. So that is a significant price savings. You can also register these models just as you would with the others. It's got that great, anti-glare, anti-fingerprint matte to it. It also has the built-in speakers, so you're not losing anything there. And it also offers the software that I mentioned earlier, the Sharp Pen software and the Touch Display Link, which allows remote collaboration, also comes with it. So again, this is what you find in the middle of it there. I will say, I already touched on the 6 points of touch, the 2 simultaneous users. So we did mention like the IR technology, the capacitive technology. Something to think about here, if you look at it 60, 70, 80 inches, there might be another display on the Sharp line card, let's say in a 47-inch or a 55-inch that is more to your liking. We do have partners within our program that I'm going to speak to you later on that can offer a overlay feature and give you somewhere close to that solution that you're looking for digital signage. And I don't know, Sandra, you want to chime in on that as well with the overlay? I know you do a lot of
Really, it comes down to what your customer's needs are, right? Is it 2-point touch or is it all the way up to 64-point touch? Our partners can also customize bezels as well. We've seen that especially in retail settings. Again, with those opportunities, we can certainly bring a partner to the table to help close that opportunity for you or work on that project with you. Just let us know what those needs are and we'll be happy to hand off the introduction and make sure that we are there throughout the whole process.
Okay. All right, so real quick, I touched on it earlier where we offer PCs to go with it. So every one of our Aquos boards, we can offer you a package SKU, and basically that package includes the display, the PC, and the cart that all comes with it. And it also has the software that's pre-downloaded to the PC. Basically, what I recommend a lot of times, if it's the first display going into, let's say, a hospital or a school, I love to recommend keeping it on a cart. Having it on a cart allows it to move from room to room, and I think you're going to have a lot more users being able to interact with it. A lot more users interacting, I think, is going to promote usage, as well as, from there, they're hopefully going to want more. So I will say take advantage of that package if you can. It's simple. It drop ships directly from Sharp with the PC and the cart along with it.
Hey, Maren, I've seen a lot of applications with the Aquos boards on the cart where it'll be utilized in the conference room and then rolled out, say, for a dining event or a customer-facing event or even in a school application for back-to-school night. So where you take that interactive whiteboard, again, in that conference room setting, whatever it may be, or schoolroom setting, and then after hours, roll out and use as a form of digital signage. Or in some cases, I've even seen it in conference centers for wayfinding as well.
All right, so I'm going to kind of close the book on Aquos board. Sandra, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to, we've kind of covered it all with that. But we obviously at the end will cover questions. But basically the next product class that I'd like to speak to you about is our 661 series, our commercial smart TVs, also offered in 60, 70, 80. And you're probably familiar with Sharp really being a player in the 60, 70, 80 are definitely our sweet spot. We've got great price points in that space. So this is where, as I mentioned before, we had our consumer lineup. And last year, a lot of those models in the consumer lineup had RS-232 built in. When we went into 2015, many of those models had RS-232 stripped out of it. So in advance, a lot of our retailers kind of waved the flag of, oh no, that's going to be a problem, we need help. So we developed the 661 series where we incorporated that RS-232 into a consumer panel. We also added a 3-year warranty and basically capitalized on a consumer TV but making it commercial operable. So it has the slim lines of a TV, super slim bezel. It's got that Aquamotion 240 hertz refresh rate. It has a built-in tuner, which if you were to ask, can that tuner be removed? Wi-Fi? Yes, it can. It has a 20-watt audio system. It has built-in Wi-Fi. It's got a 3-year commercial warranty, and they are manufactured in Mexico, so they are TAA compliant. The success of this series has been pretty phenomenal. I will say we have not been able to make them fast enough. So if you already have an order on the books and you're wondering why haven't I gotten it yet, that is completely because of the high demand in the market. We are in a state of allocation at the moment. We're working on improving that. I'd say about 60 days ago is when we went to our factory and said, you got to ramp up production as soon as possible. So It takes about 90 days for that to start hitting the channel. So next month you're going to see a lot more allocation come through, and then November is when we expect to fully recover. So if you're waiting on those, we appreciate your patience. If you're just hearing about them for the first time, I would say if you've got a project that you think might work for this, give us a heads up early on. You want to order early, knowing that there's going to be a long lead time. These being a part of the commercial lineup, they do qualify for VIR. There is no spiff related, but you can get dealer registration on it. So you can get up to 7% off if you have an opportunity for quantity 25 or more. So certainly take advantage of that. We're looking at 60, 70, 80. These are the weights and dimensions should you need them, but obviously very slim, very lightweight for a large screen.
All of the specs as well as technical drawings can be found on www.sharpusa.com underneath the business products. One thing that can be a little difficult to find that you'll need to reach out to Marin or the IAVI team is if you do, for a very secure environment, need to have the Wi-Fi disabled, we do have a step-by-step document that we can send you that documentation for removing the Wi-Fi capability is not located in the user manual or on the website. So you'll definitely have to reach out to us for that. And then one other point is keep in mind, this is a professional grade TV. So with that said, an embedded tuner, never want to put in portrait mode. These displays are meant to be in landscape mode only. Okay, this is a professional grade TV with embedded tuner, landscape mode only.
And another thing on that warranty, it is a commercial warranty. So that's important because you're calling into our commercial hotline. They know that you are a business, that this is a professional application, and you're going to be supported as such. It's not the same hotline as our consumer, which is assuming that maybe you've bought it at a retailer and it's sitting at home. I would say that there's probably a better sense of urgency around it. I think you're going to get more customized B2B support, which goes a long way for all of us. If you're ever dealing with an issue on the back end, the added price point, if you register this on a 661 and compared it to last year, the price point increase is about 7 to 8%. If you take into account that it has the RS-232, that it has the 3-year warranty, and that it's got that commercial backup support, that 8% really is not a factor, and we've obviously seen that. I think we all thought it might be a bigger factor than it is, but people see the value in what we're bringing to the table there, and it's going really, really well. Okay, so
keep also in mind with warranties on consumer, with warranties on consumer products, I would encourage everybody to always read that fine print. Being in the industry myself a very long time, working for a few different companies, with a lot of consumer product, it states hidden, but you can find it. If a consumer grade TV is placed in a business grade setting without authorization from the manufacturer, then the warranty is voided after 60 days. So again, regardless of the manufacturer, look through the warranty. Make sure if you decide to walk into a retailer and buy a consumer grade TV and place it in that professional grade setting, that you do read the warranty and make sure for yourself and your customer that you're fully covered.
Okay. All right, so STAR program. This is something we launched probably up to 2 to 3 years ago, but really in the last year I'd say has gained a lot of steam. We basically have partnered with other industry players. You look at the categories on the left there. If you're putting any solution together, whether it be for a boardroom or for digital signage, you need things like audio cases, collaboration tools, media players, mounts, surge protection. Those are all things that obviously we need too. When we're doing a demo or we're working with a high-end client to put together a solution, those are things that we've had a history of reaching out for similar things that you have. So if you become a Sharp authorized reseller, you will automatically get access to our site that will give you a list of these STAR members. If you are not an authorized reseller, certainly work with us. We can still connect you with the same information, but again, a nice feature of that program. We work with these partners to provide you with customer support. So what do we mean by customer support? So in this application within our site, you can go through each category and select any number of vendor partners that we work with within that category. So here's an example of cases. We've got 2 listed. It mentions their website, key products that they offer, and then additionally, we offer within that page contact information. So who at Peerless should I reach out to get a cart for this particular Sharp display? What is their phone number? How do I purchase it? How do I get registration pricing? Those are all potentially questions that you might be asking yourself. So this is a nice resource platform to connect you with all of that information. We do take it a step further, and basically we've got a field team that obviously is out there selling Sharp and is very familiar with a lot of these end-use applications. So, this is a good example of some of the sales leads that come through where somebody's looking for a small form factor PC, or they want to do an overlay on a screen that's not currently offered as part of our Aquos board. Does somebody have a traveling case for a particular screen? These are all questions that come up often, I would say daily. We record all of them. We, get all the information, and potentially if we see that they qualify, we add them to this STAR program. In addition, when you see us at trade shows, events, or you see these partners at trade shows and events, you'll see us collaborating with our products. So, we were in OmniVex's booth, we were in Elmo's booth, we were in Scala's booth, they were in ours. We've got Gelco cases that we bring to regional events that have that nice remote control where it brings the display right out of the case. So those, as a reseller, we recognize those are things that we need. Those are probably things that you need as well. So certainly feel free to use that site to gather some of that information. We do have I would say it's quarterly. We've had a lot more product introductions, so we've done monthly, where we've got this newsletter that goes out that it connects with a lot of the news around our products, but it also gives you an idea of some of the partners that we're working with. So in here we're teasing to our collaboration with Peerless, partner newsletters. Gelco might come out and co-promote our product, same with DisplayWorks, etc. So that's kind of an outline of what we're doing there. This is a list of partners that you'll see us co-marketing with at trade shows in the future. And obviously, should you need anything from a demo standpoint, we can certainly coordinate with you on that.
The STAR program certainly has lots of benefits, especially when you're putting together a full solution. I mean, let's just face it, we are a display company. So we are a very, very small portion of the solution. Let's not forget about the Cat 5, the Cat 6, the distribution systems, the media players, the content, the amps, everything else that makes up that full solution for your customer. So we work with a lot of those STAR partners, such as Crestron, such as Cisco, to review different IR codings, what's needed, what product has worked well, fitting into a specific Crestron solution, maybe what's new with Cisco and how the Cisco players are working for digital signage with our large format displays. So we have not only contacts lined up for you to put together that full solution, or again, if you are a customer on this call, an end user, to help you with that full project, but also for our engineering team as well. I wish I could say I had all the answers all the time, but that's not the case. So a lot of times I need to pick up the phone and I need to call my point of contact over at Extron and say, hey guys, USB extenders that have been tested, what do you recommend? Can you give me some ideas? We're troubleshooting an issue and we're running into this type of problem with your switch, or we're looking for a distribution system for a 500 panel digital signage deployment. What do you suggest? So there's a lot of benefits to the STAR program, not only educating us as a manufacturer and the solutions that are being deployed, but to help you. So that way on your shoulders is not so heavy. Again, whether you are a partner selling Sharp or you are an end user that's buying awesome Sharp product from IAVI.
All right. So I think at this point we are going to open it up for Q&A. Encourage you to provide your feedback. One of the things I want to remind you about is our demo program. We do have that 15% off demo offer. As a result of this webinar, I'm going to basically reach out to Diana and ask for your information if that's okay. We'd like to offer you a $25 gift card as a thank you for attending, as well as we'll follow up with our demo offer and potentially see what your interest level is and see how we can maybe price that out even more aggressively for you.
Marin, that
We do
sounds
have a
great.
long.
I'm sorry,
We have
go
a long
ahead,
list
Sam.
of video. I'm sorry about that, Diana. We have a long list of videos. A lot of customers are not familiar when they're out there, and they may be pitching the Aquos board, or maybe an end user has their hands on it for the first time. Again, if you go to our website, we have amazing videos, whether it's for telepresence, whether it's for saving documents, whether it's converting PDFs. So there's lots of little mini tutorial videos that are listed on our website, as well as we do open forum, I guess I would call them WebExes, about once a month as well, that are also listed on our website. So whether you yourself as a partner or an end user would like to join and get a general overview of the Aquos board, we have those dates and times listed as well.
Great information, Sandra. Marin, we have a very smart audience today, so we do have some great feedback. I want to start with David's question. Is there any possibility of a 90-inch on the horizon for the 661U series?
Possibility. I would say it's something that's been a high request. We are working on it. I would say the earliest time frame would probably be March of next year. But yeah, I would say it's not on the roadmap currently, but we are working on it.
Okay, that sounds good. And Ed wanted to know, is there a cost for the Touch Viewer software?
No, it is free.
He also wanted to know, where does the software reside for Aquos? Is it in the Aquos or on the PC?
The software resides on the PC. I will say, so we gave you guys that chart where there is currently an A model. There's like a PNL 603A and a PNL 703A. Those feature an embedded controller, is what we're calling it, where it's simple whiteboarding where it's embedded into the display. But I will tell you, with that A model, the controller doesn't allow you to add different pieces of software. It also doesn't allow you to save different pieces of whiteboard. Let's say I created this awesome drawing and I wanted to save it. I can't. So those limitations of the A model. That's really meant for a boardroom conference room that's shared, that you don't want to save any proprietary information on it. You just want to use it and then move on. So I would say for all the other models, which is probably 90% of our volume, you need to have a PC attached to the back where you would download that software to that PC. So Sandra mentioned previously, it's important to know the operating system of that PC, and we have different drivers. So in the box, you're going to get a piece of paper that's going to have a link to that driver, as well as a license code for the pen software, as well as that collaboration touch display link app. So depending on, you could have any sort of PC. You don't have to use ours. If you use yours, you can just download the software to whatever PC that is.
You just want to make sure that you keep that key that actually comes in the Aquos board packaging. If for some reason you misplace that, or if you don't have the disk for the touch drivers, if you just call our support line or reach out to IAVI, Marin, or myself, we can certainly get a new key or CD sent to you.
And we also have the pen software links on our website to where you can just download them straight from there.
Thank you. That was a great explanation. We have a question from Christine. This is about the multi-board operation. Can you have two boards next to each other and use the touch on both simultaneously as one? So if you're using a mouse on an extended screen display, does that make sense, Marin?
Yes. So, and Sandra, correct me if I'm wrong. So there are certain cases where you can have, let's say at InfoComm, we had 3 boards connected at the same time. From what I understand, there's only, you can have up to, say, at the time we had up to 3 users across the 3 boards, but we couldn't have more than that at any time writing at the same time because it's driving off of 1 display. So max users, I think, is 3 to 4. But because you're multiplying it by 3, it's not like you're going to have 12 users. You can still only have up to 4 users at those 3 boards because you're driving off of 1 PC.
Actually, there's a couple modifications to the software that we're actually looking to upgrade in the next version that is released. But currently, it allows you to have the annotation on 1 board and 1 board only at a time. So you would be swiping it over to the other 2 boards. Now, is there a way to make that happen with the right switches and extenders and additional hardware on the back end and PCs? Yes. But with the touch display viewer, that is good for the 1 board with swiping the information over to the 2 additional boards. In the next version, what has been discussed is potentially boards writing simultaneously, as well as we've had several requests from the field and interest in overlapping the content as well. So think about it in a graphic design type application, but that would be in the next version, which hopefully will be released pretty soon too.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes, thank you. Norman wants to know, how exactly does one register to be a partner, and where are the 12 demo showrooms located?
So registering as a partner, Diana, I can send you the link to
Okay.
it. I think it's www.sharp-pdd/proavreseller.com. But I think that what I'd like to is just send you the form because I'd like to handhold you guys through the process. Sometimes when you submit it online, I lose visibility at that point. So I'd like to, if I can, send you guys the form to fill out, and then if you just want to send it back to me, I'll get you signed up.
That
we'll
makes sense.
Does that work?
Yep, that'd be great. Next, Herman wants to know, can you create grids along with collaboration?
Can you create grids? So if I'm understanding this question correctly, the best way to simplify this would be, think of the Aquos board, right? I want you to think of it as an extension of your desktop. And whatever software you have, Herman, on your desktop is what is actually going to be mirrored up there on the Aquos board. So if you have a software that you've installed on, say, your Windows PC, and it allows you to create grids, then when you connect that PC up to the Aquos board, because that's going to act as the brains of the Aquos board, that is going to mirror the content that you have on your display. So you can absolutely annotate on top of it, but really when people ask me, what are the limitations of the Aquos board, and tell me everything the Aquos board can do, I kind of come back and giggle a little bit and say, well, let's look at your computer. Let's look at the software on your computer. What can your computer do, and what are the limitations with the software that you have installed? So it's not so much about the Aquos board as much about the software that's driving the PC and what's mirrored on the Aquos board. Does that help answer your question, Herman? Hopefully you'll be able to see a yes.
Yes. While we wait for Herman to reply, we have another one from Norman. Off subject, do you carry specialized cables? And if so, who can I send the specs for government bid?
So I know we don't
cables.
Depending on, I think for video wall we may have some, but for Aquos board, generally we don't, because the vast variety of cables needed, can vary in length and things like that. So we do not carry any cables as related to Aquos board there. So that's something that we probably refer you to our STAR program with, depending on what specs you have. But that's certainly something we'd be glad to help you with, or link you up to the right person or the correct contact. If you have a government bid that has a spec to support our display, we can certainly help point you in the right direction.
Yeah, especially that's something to keep in mind too is one of the number one issues that I see come across with tech support. It has to do with signals, blank boards, and it's because of distance. The cable was not calculated properly. So you always want to think about what that HDMI, what that USB, what that Cat5, what that Cat6, what those cables distance thresholds are, and make sure that you do spec in the correct cable.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you both. And I believe Eric is asking again about the showroom locations.
Oh, yes.
Sorry about that. I should have chimed in there. So, you know what? I'm sorry. Who was that, Eric, that asked that question?
Yes.
I think you said, hi, Eric. Thanks for the question. You know what? I wish I had the answer off the top of my head. I can tell you that we have a showroom at our headquarters in Mahwah, New Jersey. We have one in lovely Santa Ana on the West Coast. I know that we have one in Houston, Texas, and one in downtown Chicago. That's all that I have memorized. But I'm certainly happy to send you that list location that can be shared amongst all the participants in the IAVI family.
And I can mention two more. I know we have one in D.C. that's right outside of D.C. in Virginia.
Oh, that's right.
We also have another one in Greenville, South Carolina, and another one in Tampa, Florida. So those are the three that I myself have been to. But I do believe we have one or two more outside of that. So we can send you guys the follow-up list.
Great, and Eric said thank you. And last but not least, Norman just wanted to clarify that the cables were for airplanes, not for the whiteboards.
Oh.
We just don't have, we have with some of our displays, some of them will include cables, but we don't sell cables as a manufacturing company. So certainly, you know, I can work with your IAVI rep to recommend brands that would work to meet certain standards, especially when we're talking about airlines with different frequencies and stuff like that.
Oh, that sounds great. I believe we've answered all the questions for today.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for jumping on. We really appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. IBI is a wonderful partner of Sharp's. We've had an amazing year. We thank you for your partnership. And should you have any questions going forward, Sandra and myself are great resources, as is your IBI rep. They know us well. We had the same conversations with them yesterday. So hopefully we've sparked some interest. We've given you some new knowledge. And, you know, should you need anything in the future, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you both, Maren and Sandra. It has been a great session today. We're going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much, and it was great to have all of you today. We will see you at the next one. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.